just finished the spring. Really excited about our football team. I mentioned this last time, and I said this to the team just 5 minutes ago, that I can't remember a time over the last 14 practices when I was watching, that I had anything that I was disturbed about. Their attitude, their enthusiasm, their effort, their ability to accept coaching, absorb information, is really good. So I'm as excited now, selfishly and personally, about our football team as I have been since I've been here. And we're looking forward to the game on Saturday. I know that you guys have the rosters that we released. We split the team as even as possible, right down the middle, like we did a few years ago. And we're going to play a game, and we're going to play fast, and we're going to run our plays. And for us, it's going to really be a game. Mason's going to get in there and play. JW will play. We'll have his package in. There's not anything that we're going to try to hold back. We're going to play the game, and I'm guessing it to be could be very in excess of 75 plays. At one point, we didn't know how much to talk about that, because you really never know where you're going to be at that point in the spring. But we're in a situation to let everybody play, and I'm looking forward to watching the guys. So we'll play with tempo, and be a couple guys we protect at times, but for the most part, we're going to split up and play a game.
The forecast looks really bad, Mike. Do you have a plan B at all?
We can't get everybody in the indoor, so we'll go with it. And there's so many other things around the game that you have the run, and you have your other sports that you got to go with it. You really can't change it. If there's not threat of lightning, and we'll go play. I mean, these guys understand that. Now, it won't be as fan friendly, but there's not anything that we can do to control that. But for the game, for the fans, for the team, we're going to play a game. We hadn't been able to do that the last couple of years because we were just too young and didn't have the players to do it. Now we do. So I'm excited to watch JW play. We've got all of our stuff in for him, and let's run his plays and let's see what he can do. And some of the new guys. So it should be a great day for us.
Is there a specific position that you want to see how they're going to perform, in game time in front of a crowd?
Not really, because I've watched that all spring. We've had as physical of a spring that we've had in probably 5-6 years, and we had enough players that we could play hard the last 14 practices, and we've had guys tackling, and we're just in a really good position right now. And so there's not really anybody or a position I'm really interested in watching. I just want to watch the team compete. I want to watch them play hard. They know it's important for their attitude, their body language. They're going to make mistakes. They get up and keep playing and go faster. Those are the things that we're looking for as a coaching staff.
This has been discussed many times. Now that you're at the tail end of spring, do you marvel at all at if you combine morale and energy at where you are today versus where you were in November?
Sure, and I mentioned that when I opened in this interview, and you can go back. I said a year ago at this time I was really concerned about the youth of our football team after spring. There's a lot of guys that just didn't know where to go and what was going on, and I don't feel that way right now. I feel the complete opposite. And we were very fortunate. We were fortunate to win the Bedlam game, and the players got excited and played real well in a bowl game, and it's just night and day. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
It just seemed like you had a certain checklist of things you needed to clean up in spring, and you seem to feel like you got all that.
I think so.
Especially the offensive.
And we've been fortunate. We got very lucky with Victor Salako and Burton on defense, two guys that we needed to fill a spot for us. And Victor, his attitude, his approach, his willingness to accept us, and the players accepted him. And the same thing with Burton on defense. We had a home run in those spots. They haven't lined up and played, but for the most part, they filled a couple voids that could really help us be successful next year.
But if you bring in 4 recruits, chances are one of the 4 or 2 of the 4 won't pan out.
Sure.
But you seem to feel like you hit 4 for 4 on the assistant coaches you hired.
Well, those guys have done really well, and what I'm most proud of with those guys is they've gelled together and they're working and they've come up with what we think is the best plan for us to have success based on our personnel. And I've really enjoyed spring, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of standing around and watching, and so I've been very observant of the attitude and the enthusiasm of our team, and it's been very positive.
But you've said some things that would suggest that maybe you think Atkins will be a star, a real star guy on your staff.
Well, he comes in very highly recommended and has had tremendous success at two schools back in the day where they were running the football and physical, and that's what we want to do at Oklahoma State. And then he comes from the Buffalo Bills, and I've never coached in the NFL, but most guys that have an experience in the NFL, I would think that it's hard to stay at that level unless you're pretty good at what you do. And so far it's worked out really well for our team.
You've started having some guys speak to the team at the end of practice, some of your players, having them kind of give their thoughts on things. How much can you elaborate on your thinking on that and how it's worked out?
Well, the two most dangerous times for our team are when I'm driving in a car and when I'm jogging, because it gives me a chance to think. And so I thought, why wouldn't we have players that understand the commitment and what it takes to win a Big 12 championship at Oklahoma State in football, talk to the team? And so we've asked two players, one on offense, one on defense, every day during the spring. And once we got through the guys that we felt like could be somewhat informative with that type of information, then we moved to today the two new guys, Burton and Victor, both spoke to the team today, and just their experience in being here for just a couple months and being with the team for 14 practices, and how they felt about our football team. And they get 60 seconds, and it benefits them in two ways, in my opinion. One, it teaches them how to get up and talk in front of other people when they're staring at you, and we all know that's not easy to do, and you get better the more you do it. And two, it allows the team to hear certain players talk that they may never hear talk, because some guys are quiet. And like James Washington, when he spoke to the team a couple weeks ago, I'll bet you half of them had never really heard him talk, because he just doesn't say much. And you could get another player that they hear talk every day. So I think it's really benefited our football team. I think it's helped bring us together as a group, and that chemistry and the cohesiveness that's developed with the team is very important to give yourself a chance to win the championship, and that's what we're trying to do.
What have you seen out of your receivers this spring, Mike?
They've been steady. Brandon Shepard cracked a bone in his finger, and he was just back out there today, but he had missed a couple weeks, which was fine, because it allowed the other guys to get quality work. And the players that you would expect to perform did. Hayes is back and he's making plays. Seals has had a better spring than he did a fall. James Washington is making plays. Keenan Brown made plays. Doolittle's making plays. C.J. Curry made some catches. So it's a pretty steady group. Glidden wasn't out there. We held him out. It's a pretty steady group that performed and made some plays for us.
Is that where you expect them to be after last fall? The improvement, the growth that they showed last fall?
They should all be better. The good news is there's 10 of them back, and they should all improve because they have experience. They're bigger and they're stronger, and they understand what our system is, so they should play better.
Have you been able to gauge the competition at punter at all between Zach and Matt?
Both of them have punted really well. I expect us to be better at PAT field goal kicking and better at punter next fall.
You mentioned on Friday that Todd Mays has been held out a couple practices lately. Do you think he'll be able to go on Saturday?
We're not going to let him go. He's out there, but as much as I would like to let him get in there, we just don't think it's smart. And that's the one area that I was disappointed in the spring is he struggled for the first 3 or 4 practices that I mentioned, and then he went like 3 or 4, and he was getting better and better every day. And then he had this sprained knee, and he'll be full probably in a week. So if we were playing a game, we'd put him out there. We'd brace him up, put him out there. But right now, it's just not working. So he'll have to pick back up in their voluntary workouts in the summer, and then we'll have to get him a lot of work in August.
During that